It's been a real honor and a joy in my career and in my life to be associated with Job Creators Network, because I've gotten to spend quality time with people like Alfredo Ortiz and Elaine Parker, who's the Chief Communications Officer for Job Creators Network, who joins us here on the Mike Gallagher Show for this busy breaking news Monday. Because Elaine, it's not just LA and the riots, but do you mind, can I ask you a little bit about the political ramifications of what we're seeing in getting the big, beautiful bill passed? Is there any correlation there, do you think? I mean, do you agree with me that the biggest chance normal America has is to continue to have victories at the ballot box?
Absolutely, Mike. And what's going to happen if this big, beautiful bill doesn't get across the finish line in one form or another when it comes out of the Senate is Americans are going to face a $4 trillion tax increase. This is about stopping a tax increase that is slated to happen at the end of this year when this bill expires. That's going to hurt everyday, ordinary Americans. This isn't about, what the Democrats continue to try messaging that this is about giving tax cuts to the rich. This is about keeping the lower tax rates that have been in place since 2017, keep locking in lower tax rates. This is about making the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act permanent and increasing the small business tax deduction that small business owners have enjoyed and bringing back immediate expensing. Small business owners are going to actually have the tax deduction expanded from 20 to 23%. That's massive for Main Street, and that's who we're targeting in this bill.
Let's talk about the best parts of this bill, because I know critics and naysayers, Elaine, have tried to chip away at it. And of course, we know about deficit spending. We get it. But let's remind everyone about the very best part of the House package and hope that the Senate doesn't mess with that, especially as it relates to jobs.
The way it relates to jobs and the best part of the bill, it hits Main Street, it hits small business owners. It's that increasing that tax deduction, locking in the lower rates, bringing back immediate expensing. This bill also doubles the standard deduction, hitting Main Street directly. It expands the child tax credit. It shields overtime and tax on tips from taxes. I mean, that's everything that the American people voted for when they voted for Donald Trump in November. This is a good bill. It's over in the Senate. I think it's only going to get better over in the Senate. And by the time it makes it to the president's desk, it may look a little bit better, but the basic vision of this bill is to save Main Street and help Main Street and protect Main Street from a $4 trillion tax increase that's going to happen, and it's as if the Democrats want it to.
You have to be so thrilled, and I know we were in the middle of all this with you guys with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. Job Creators Network played a crucial role in getting that passed. It is essential. I mean, even warriors and sharp-elbowed guys like Steve Bannon, who aren't necessarily a big fan of the spending in the big beautiful bill, say we got to get it passed if for no other reason than making these tax cuts permanent. Let's talk about the impact that's going to have on entrepreneurs, on small business owners, and on Main Street.
It's going to be a massive impact. I mean, we poll small business owners nationally, and 70% of small business owners tell us that they will, if they get this tax provisions permanent, they will reinvest in their communities, they will expand their businesses, they'll increase wages. I mean, 70% of small business owners, that cuts across party lines. I mean, you don't get 70% in any poll unless you're cutting across all party lines, because Main Street small business owners, they're not political. They believe in good policy that helps their small businesses and helps them grow, helps their employees thrive and do well and make more money. Because if the small business owner is able to reinvest back in their businesses, they can create jobs. And that is what helps this country prosper. That's what we saw in the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. We had the greatest economy in 2018 and 2019 pre-pandemic that we had seen in half a century. We had the lowest unemployment we had seen in 50 years. We had wages rising at the bottom levels faster than the upper levels, which means blue collar workers were getting ahead actually faster than white collar workers. Those are all positive things. You can't deny it, whether you're a Democrat in Washington or a Republican in Washington. The data plays out, and it also plays out that if you cut taxes, you increase revenues. And we see that over and over again. And the CBO, as much as they scored the first bill incorrectly, and I believe they're scoring it incorrectly now because they're doing the static scoring versus factoring in the prosperity and the economic growth, we saw tax revenues increase under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, in spite of the fact that the CBO said we were going to see tax revenues decrease.
We're visiting with Elaine Parker with Job Creators Network. We're going to show you how you can get involved with Job Creators Network here in just a moment because, look, this is not a time to be on the sidelines. It's a time for you to stand up and be counted and let your voice be heard. I have to ask you, what does happen, what will happen, in your view, if the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act doesn't pass, if this bill collapses, if this bill doesn't make it to the president's desk, what then?
If the tax cuts expire, as they're slated to do at the end of this year, if nothing happens, it will be a massive hit to our economy. It'll be a $4 trillion tax hoisted upon the American people. And what we've seen in the past, when taxes go up, small business owners, they stop spending, they stop investing, they stop hiring, they cut back on workers, they cut back on hours, they cut back on wages. All of those things will happen. The proof, just look at the first term under the Trump administration and the prosperity that we saw. We know it can happen. If your viewers will go to taxcutsnow.com, they can fill out a form online and send it to their elected representatives in Washington and tell them that they want tax cuts now.
And it's so simple, frankly, Elaine. I did it a couple of weeks ago, and I was amazed at the ease. You guys have made it so user-friendly, but everybody needs to get off the sidelines. Make sure your voice is heard. And thanks to a great grassroots organization like Job Creators Network, you can do it. Go to taxcutsnow.com. Let's make sure the Senate hears from each and every one of us, and let's get this bill passed. Go to taxcutsnow.com. taxcutsnow.com. Elaine Parker, keep fighting the good fight. Great having you on the show. Welcome back, and we'll see you again soon.
Thanks, Mike.
You bet. Elaine Parker, Job Creators Network. Again, taxcutsnow.com, taxcutsnow.com.